That time of year when people take stock and get ready for the new year and think about New Year's resolutions, all those things they want to get done that they haven't gotten done. Not me. New Year's resolutions have never worked for me. They're too big of a thing. So much pressure. Just too much pressure. I'm going to do this. I like small. I like intimate. I like morning pages. Today, I'm going to sit down and open myself up and let whatever answers come to me. And in those morning pages, somewhere in those 3 pages, I say, so what are today's options? And then my priorities bubble up. The things that call to me bubble up, and that's how I proceed to the day. Sometimes the list is very long and I don't get to everything, but those things will return, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe a couple weeks from now, and they'll continue to bubble up on the page. But the things that are most important always bubble up first. And those are the things that I attend to first with a maddening lack of urgency, and it's lovely and it's wonderful. One of the things, though, that I have learned this year, that I have incorporated into my life already this year, besides my ringing chimes for victory, that I want to take into the next year and make it a part of my foundation of my writing life, is to take a break. And not from writing, never from writing. Writing is the reason I get up in the morning. It is the great work of my life. I'm not going to take that away from myself. Oh, sure, there are some days when I don't write. I didn't really apply myself when I was traveling this summer. It was all an extended artist date. And I wrote my morning pages. I did that, took notes here and there, but I didn't do any hardcore writing, I would say. But what I mean by taking a break is a break from the work in progress, a substantial break from a work in progress, not just a day off because you had to do errands, or a day off because you're feeling like, not too sure where this chapter is going. I mean, take a significant break. Once you have finished a phase, to take a significant break. I never did that. When I started out, it was all about, I just wanted to do it so badly. And I saw the finish line, publishing. Oh, that was such a thing. And I felt like I couldn't take a break. I just had to keep working and work until it was absolutely perfect, and it would get me an agent, and it would get me a publishing deal, and I would be a best-selling author, and oh my gosh, yes, delusional. But I have moved on from that, thank goodness. I was never able to really take a break, a significant break, where I could then come back fresh. I don't really know why, except it was all caught up with that end gaining that in some ways I didn't even realize I was doing it. But this year, something extraordinary happened. At the end of 2021, I completed the second draft of my memoir. And I felt, wow, yeah, this is so great. And I never have to write about myself ever again. Ha ha ha, very funny. We always write about ourselves, even if it's fiction. Anyways, I finished it. And at that time, I actually thought, maybe this is enough. Maybe I don't really need to take this any further. Maybe I only wrote it for myself. Maybe I only needed to write it for myself. I'm just going to put it away. And so I did. And I dug into research for a historical novel. And I researched from January all the way through May. And then when I got to Ireland and I had some downtime because I didn't want to lug any more research books with me, I pulled out the second draft of the memoir and I read through it. And I was gobsmacked. I was reading it as a reader, reading it as a reader in a way that made me look at the protagonist, me, in the memoir, me. I was reading about me as a character. I had become a character. And look at me, I can't even form the words right now. What I recognized in that moment was one of the main reasons that I was able to have that distance was because I took 5 freaking months off. I didn't take a little sneaky peek. I maybe thought about it like, oh yeah, I wrote a memoir, oh yeah, but I didn't think about it, I didn't ponder it, I didn't try and rewrite anything. I just put it away. And I did something else, something that absorbed me totally. And why I've never done this before, Stephen King talks about it all the time, right? He writes things, he finishes it, and then he starts something else. He writes something new. He goes down that rabbit hole to the point where he can completely forget the last thing he finished. And only then will he go back and look at it. You need that objectivity. And I found it after that break. I was looking at my protagonist as a bona fide protagonist. It was heavenly. And that objectivity allowed me to then look at the work in a different way. I could really analyze it for what is working and what isn't working. It was extraordinary, and I realized I will never again write anything without taking a significant break. At least 2 months, at the minimum, at least. But let me tell you, the 5 was great. And then, this is another thing that happened that reinforced this. I took a master class with Holly Craig, and it was designed so she talked about techniques of writing, and then she would give us a prompt, and we were supposed to apply these techniques. I can't work that way. I don't work under, I can't, like my brain just shuts down when I'm in a time situation. However, we could look at previous work and analyze it for the technique that we were talking about. And I pulled out 3 old manuscripts that I had completed. And whatever technique we were talking about, I examined the work. And okay, I wrote these a really long time ago, like over 10 years ago, really long time ago. And yes, I was super green and it was bad. Well, it wasn't too shabby for where I was then, but what I realized, I was able to apply what she said. There was this one passage. It was 2 pages long, and the character was going into the emergency room searching for his wife. And it was 2 pages of description and interaction and all of this stuff. And using this technique of zooming in and zooming out, I was like, wow, I could do that whole 2 pages in a paragraph. I would have never been able to see that 10 years ago. I just would have felt everything on that page was essential and necessary, and how could I ever delete it? That showed me how much I'd grown, but it also showed me how important distance is. And I thought, golly, I could go back to that manuscript. It's not too shabby, with a whole set of new skills that will ramp up the story and make it more compelling and more interesting for me to write as well. And then, okay, always three. The 3rd time this happened, I worked on my novel, my New Orleans novel, with a developmental editor. 18 months, it was hell, it was heaven, it was exactly what I needed to be doing. And when we got it finished and it was just really shining, my editor said, this is really fabulous, and you need to cut about 30,000 words. Okay, so like a novella out of my novel. Okay. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so I dove in, I did it, I did it, I did it. I didn't quite make it the 30, right? But I got as far as I could go. And I just thought there's nothing else I can do. There's just absolutely no way I can cut anything more out of this novel. Nothing. And I put it away. And I went back to my memoir. And I did my research. And I wrote the first round of revision on the second draft of my memoir, which was great. And the last couple of weeks, I pulled it out because I'm getting ready to hand it out to some readers. And I thought, well, I'll just do a proof, kind of spiff it up a little bit. And I went back in and I've already cut another 2,000 words. I didn't think I could remove anything else. And I cut over 2,000 words. And it was because I hadn't looked at it in over a year. I had that distance. I was able to say, yeah, you said that. You said that. Why do you need to say it again? Or all you need is this. This is the strongest line. Choose me. Distance. I took a long break and I saw more clearly. You have to take a break. Note to self, take a break from your work in progress. Whenever you finish the draft, the revision, the round of revision, take a break. Do something totally different. Get completely absorbed in something else and then go back. And you'll realize not only how much you have grown as a writer, but you'll also be able to look at it with an objectivity that is going to make what you have written stronger than it ever could have been before. Yeah. Note to self for 2023, take a break. What are your takeaways from 2022?